By now you already know. The special counsel, Jack Smith, has already given a letter to Donald Trump telling him that he is a target of the investigation into the January 6th attack. And you can pretty much guess how Donald Trump is reacting. He's panicked. That's putting it mildly, actually. Anyway, this is the reckoning. This article from Salon.com explains it perfectly. From Heather Digby Patton, Trump's target lair, a reckoning is near. Donald Trump is very likely on the cusp of another federal indictment, and this one is the big enchilada. All day Monday, ex-President Donald Trump's Twitter social feed was active with posts raging on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and reposts of his famous superhero memes. You would never know that the night before he had been presented with a target lair from special counsel Jack Smith. On Tuesday, Trump fessed up and posted a rambling, incoherent two-page statement announcing it to the world. Deranged Jack Smith, the prosecutor with Joe Biden's DOJ, sent a letter stating that I am the target of the January 6th grand jury investigation and giving me very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost means an arrest and indictment. The investigation, the statement began, after which it immediately devolved into whining and crying over his alleged persecution by, well, everyone. He lamented, "It is a very sad and dark period for our nation." It is a sad and dark period for our nation that an accused criminal ex-president is the front-runner for the Republican presidential nomination. In fact, it's tragic. Late last night, several news outlets reported that the target lair specified 3 crimes that they are contemplating charging Trump with. According to ABC, it mentions 3 federal statutes: conspiracy to commit offense or to defraud the United States, which he's guilty of; deprivation of rights under the color of law, which he's definitely guilty of; and tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant, which we obviously know he probably did. Contrary to much speculation, the letter apparently did not mention sedition or insurrection, despite the fact that the letter refers to conspiracy charge. No other targets have come forward to say that they have been similarly informed. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, would be a likely choice, but has spent many hours with the special counsel during 2 Pulfier sessions and claims that he is neither a cooperator nor a target. His spokesman told ABC, quoting him, "Any speculation that Mayor Rudy Giuliani flipped against President Donald Trump is as false as previous lies that America's mayor was somehow a Russian agent. In order to flip on President Trump, as so many in the anti-Trump media are fantasizing over, Mayor Giuliani would have to commit perjury because all the information he has regarding this case points to President Trump's innocence." Unquote. And we know that's all a lie, by the way. Anyway, we'll have to see how that stakes out, because it could mean almost anything. It's entirely possible that Giuliani remains more assured of his lawyer prowess than he should be, and those sessions are actually implicating Trump and himself. As for the other potential conspirators, like John Eastman or Sidney Powell, who knows? All we are sure of at this point is that Donald Trump is very likely on the cusp of another federal indictment, and this one is the big enchilada. CNN reports that Trump has been on the horn to his allies on Capitol Hill, twisting their arms to use their power to defend him. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy stepped up to the microphone and immediately after Trump announced the news and said, quoting him, "Well, I guess under a Biden administration, Biden's America, you expect this. If you notice recently, President Trump went up in the polls and actually surpassing Biden for re-election." You may recall, of course, that McCarthy took the floor of the House chambers after January 6th and said the attack on the Capitol was undemocratic, un-American, and criminal, and the president, then Trump, bears responsibility. Trump also had a long conversation with House GOP Conference Chair Elise Stefanik, brainstorming talking points for the caucus to circulate his defense. This was apparently what they came up with. This stupid, idiotic Twitter post saying witch hunt and a text number to Trump. Stefanik didn't stop there, however. She also brought in another conspiracy theory, which was echoed by other members and Fox News. She tweeted, and I quote, "It's no coincidence on the same week that IRS whistleblowers are testifying about illegal corruption protecting the Biden crime family, Biden's DOJ targets President Trump with another corrupt witch hunt," unquote. And of course, there's Mary Jean Taylor Greene, who typically restrained her reconciliation of the talking points, calling the target layer, quoting her, "bullshit," unquote, saying that the only way the Democrats have to beat President Trump is to arrest him, smear him, charge him with ridiculous charges, all in a cover-up of Joe Biden's crimes, Hunter Biden's crimes, unquote. Now, she posted this on Twitter as well. "Jack Smith is a lousy attorney. His career is filled with mistrials, overturned cases, and judicial rebukes. He only targets Republicans because he's a weak little bitch for the Democrats." Wow. Calling him a little bitch the same way you called, I forgot what her name was. Lauren Boebert. You called her a little bitch too? Why do I get the feeling that she's been on the phone with Donald Trump too? On the campaign trail, Trump's rivals were politically wishy-washy. The New York Times reported that former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley didn't address the merits of the issue and instead complained that it was a distraction from the most important issues and said, quoting her, "We don't need all this drama," unquote. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis went with the talking points that there is, and according to him, an attempt to criminalize politics and to try to criminalize differences, but typically pointed out that Trump could have come out in a more forcefully on January 6th. Vivek Ramsway, I'm not sorry if I screwed that name up, by the way, because he's a scumbag too. Now, this is what he said, and I quote, "It is un-American for the ruling party to use police power to arrest its chief rivals." Later on that. Senator Tim Scott, who has been accusing the Democrats of weaponizing the DOJ in his speeches, boldly pointed out that, quoting him, "it is part of the distraction that is always going to be surrounding the former president." Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson was the only one who had actually addressed the big picture, quoting him, "While Donald Trump would like the American people to believe that he is the victim of this situation, the truth is that the real victims of January 6th was our democracy, our rule of law, and those Capitol police officers," unquote. The overriding theme among Trump's defenders is this notion of a weaponized DOJ. Someone should remind Republicans, however, of the 27 different people that Trump said he wanted to throw in jail, from Hillary Clinton and James Comey, to Marco Rubio, to Tim Kaine, to Robert Mueller, to the current president of the United States, Biden, to former presidents of the United States, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. He wanted to stick the IRS on his political enemies, and there's a good reason to suspect he succeeded. The reason Trump is being indicted for all these crimes is not because the deep state is out to get him, but because he is imperiously insistent that he is above the law and continuously breaks it. He always has. When it came to taxes and various kinds of fraud, he was able to worm his way out of any legal consequences because he was just another rich white boy with friends in high places. But when he became the president of the United States, his extreme narcissism and grandiosity took over completely, and he stopped even pretending to believe that he had any limits. He used to say all the time, I got an Article 2, I got Article 2, I got Article 2. That lets me get away with what I want to do. Article 2, Article 2. I got Article 2. I don't bring it up, Article 2. He was protected from legal liability while he was president, and since he refuses to acknowledge that he lost the re-election bid, he seems to think it should apply now as he runs for president again. Hear the words, MAGA. It does not. Nobody's weaponizing the Justice Department against this poor innocent MAGA martyr, this poor boy, this innocent little boy. There is a mountain of evidence that he broke the law in half a dozen ways, and he is long due for reckoning. It looks as though it's finally here. We can only hope that it's here right now. I mean, by the way, that's the end of the article. We can only hope it's here because, quite honestly, the deck is stacked firmly against us. One trial has a Donald Trump appointed judge that we can't trust completely on. So it's stacked against us. Not to mention the fact we got a Congress that is pretty much content to defend Donald Trump to the death. The reckoning is coming whether you like it or not, Trump. One way or another. Before there can be peace, there must first be a great suffering. The greater the suffering, the greater the peace. It's coming, Trump. And the only peace you'll ever get is one behind the jail cell. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.